Okay.
Yeah, you don't know how hard that is, but we did it. All right, I'm going to intro us in and then we can get started.
All right, roll, dude.
All right, guys. Welcome to episode 7 of Poke the Yolk podcast. I'm Matt, and if you haven't noticed, Trevor is not here. We have another young man taking his place, my good friend, Tom Forte from across the pond. What's up,
Hey,
Tom?
what's up? What's up, guys? It's good to be on here.
Yeah, how you been? It's been, dude, I'm still like freaking out. It's like been a minute really since the last time we talked.
What was it when we last saw it? It must have been from like 2018.
Yeah,
since
is that when you graduated?
Yeah, that's when I left UCI. I finished UCI in 2018, and then I had another year at my university.
Right.
And that was so I graduated in 2019.
Nice.
But yeah, I literally haven't seen you since. It's been crazy, dude.
I know, dude. How lucky is it that so you graduated 2019? Like you had like a nice like graduate. I'm sure you like hung out with your friends afterwards. Maybe did like something for your graduation post.
Yeah. I mean, what did we do? We had like where I went to university is in Canterbury, and they have this amazing cathedral there that they host all the graduations. And so it's just like this incredible, like, I can't remember when it's from, but it's definitely medieval times. It's just so beautiful. And it was a beautiful sunny day. Everybody was coming out. It's a long day, like graduation. I think everybody hypes it up, but a lot of the time, once you get your certificate or whatever and your scroll, and then like you go and sit back down, you got to wait another like hour and a half without like eating anything.
Yeah.
And just sitting there watching everyone else. So I think there's a lot of it is overhyped as well.
And it's such a nightmare to find your folks afterwards, for us at least. Like everyone just kind of like mobs, and you're just like trying to find your dad so you can go home. And it's so hard to get lost in like the sea of people. But yeah, graduation.
Did you get a graduation then?
Yes, 2019 as well. That's why, like, man, I'm so glad, because then the next year, I feel bad for the next year, 2020. That's when like kind of stuff hit the fan, and I don't know. Hopefully people get back to school soon, but I think I'm one of the lucky ones. Like, we had a good
I know
graduation.
my brother is graduating this year. I think I think they're still unsure about what the kind of graduation plans that they're going to have, but it's certainly going to be like minor. I know last year they didn't have anything, but maybe this year,
right?
There might be a glimmer of hope.
But yeah, I think it's getting a little better, more hopeful. But how is it over there? Like, how's the reopening? Yeah. I guess.
Well, yeah, it's we're on track with all the vaccines, which is pretty amazing. I think. I think we're over 23 million people vaccinated already, which is insane. My dad actually got his last week. So
oh, nice.
My mum works she works as a healthcare. She works as a doctor, and she managed to get hers like very early. And then my dad just got his last week. So everyone's doing pretty well around here. Like, but in terms of the lockdown, we're all in total lockdown still. And like there's only limited stuff that you can do, limited places that are open. But for the most part, we're just trying to settle into a new kind of rhythm of life. And actually now we've had more of a roadmap of when things are going to be opening up, so that we can go and meet more friends, go to like restaurants and bars. And so hopefully things will kind of be changing by June. Apparently there's going to be no restrictions.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy,
which is wild, right? That like that's you can mark on your calendar, like, all right, life goes back to normal in June. Can't wait for that.
Exactly. It kind of feels a bit unreal, because that's when, like, for us, like for nightclubs will be open like in June, and you just think, wait, we're going to go from social distancing to nightclubs and everybody just like greasy all together, just like partying hard. You're like, hang on, that doesn't seem scientifically correct. But
I know, from like all like being super safe to like, bro, like I'm going to go to the nightclub and just freaking sweat it out.
Exactly. You better know that everybody's keen for that. Like, I mean, myself, like I've booked 2-day festivals, like, or 3-day festivals now, just to go and see some live music, because I've just been missing it so much.
Into that. Let's explore that. Let's talk about your music a little bit. I was listening to it basically all this week, and the clips that are on Instagram are so good, because you can't just listen to that 10-second clip. like I'm like, bro, I gotta listen to this whole song, and then it just attracts. Yeah,
Damn, bro, thank
your
you.
stuff is cool.
Thanks,
Do you want to
man.
talk
Yeah.
about it a little bit? What's it?
Yeah.
I didn't want to mispronounce it. Is it Louis music or?
Yeah, so it's LouisLo. Basically,
LouisLo.
that was for the longest time I was trying to figure out the name that I wanted to come up with, or like the sort of the alias that this music would be under, because I love making lots of different types of music, like very soulful, hip hop, R&B stuff, and then I love like the more electronic, house, techno, disco, and I kind of wanted to distinguish something between those like genres. So I just came up with this alias LouisLo, which is basically my middle name. So my full name is Tom Louis Angelo Forte, which is like the most like pompous.
Dude,
like
that
I got
sounds like a king, like a old-timey king, bro.
It's basically like, you know, pompous like middle names that my parents like, you know, thought up for me. Grateful as I am for it, but it was just funny, and I was just kind of like, well, I don't want to completely use all of that, so I just kind of broke it up and took the Louis from it, and then took like the Lo from the Angelo,
Right.
and I just thought, you know, the alliteration had some meaning behind that, and I was like, okay, I'll roll with that and see how it goes. And the first song that I put out, it's actually it's funny. My friend, he put me onto this playlist that he made, which is called Vitamin D Supplements. So
that's
it's
what the
basically
playlist is
like,
called?
that's the playlist, right? So it's all these songs that are basically, you know, fulfill
Boost up
you
your
with
mood, right?
Yeah, boost the mood, make you sort of feel like you're in another place, like tropical lifestyle, you know. And I was just like really inspired by it. I was like, oh, you know, especially like when I was listening to it during the winters here in the UK, which get like seriously cold. And you just need that like comfort, and need that assurance.
Need that dopamine.
Exactly, you need the vitamin D that you're lacking. So it was just like I was listening to this playlist, and then this song came up, and it's this song called Lujon by Henry Mancini, and it's just like this song that really has an essence of being in a tropical paradise place. And I think I'd heard it in some movies before, but as soon as I heard that song from his playlist, I was like, that whole vibe took me to a place where I could just relax, maybe be by the beach, you know, just by the poolside, just lounging around in the sun.
Wow,
and
that song like super stuck to you, huh? Like,
yeah, it really, I was just like, I really want to do something with this. And I looked it up and I found the song. I was looking around to see if anyone had kind of made a remix of it, and no one really had. So I was just like, well, I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to take this sample and try and put it and give it a different kind of twist. And so I put some drums on it. I put the tempo up a bit, made it kind of more of an electronic house kind of feel. And then I had that as a basis. And then I think what kind of set this song as something a bit different was having these sort of old voice notes throughout it. So you have this song that kind of, it has this man from, I think he's from the 60s maybe. I basically found this, it was a PSA, like an infomercial from the US. And it's this guy talking to all these kids about rules, and these kids like, they hate rules. They want to basically be in a world where there are no rules. And this guy's like, oh, I know, let me take you to a world without rules. And so I was just like, that's kind of funny.
They're like, yeah, that sounds
yeah, exactly. It's like one of those really cringy PSA stuffs that we don't really get over here, but you guys seem to have a lot of that stuff, like a back catalog of it, basically. It's so funny.
I was gonna ask you too, like, that's cool. Talking about your process and how you find those clips, because you hear them like behind house music, and I guess it just like you just happen to hear it, right? That's just like something you stumbled upon and just remembered to like.
Well, yeah, I was just I went out looking for it, and I went on there's a great, you know, the internet is just a massive archive, but there is an actual internet archive where you can get all this free public domain material. From PSAs to podcasts to books and texts, and it's like a library, a free library. And I just found this PSA on that looking hard, and then I just decided to chop it up so that it would kind of reflect being in a place where let's pretend we're in a world without rules. My take was on it, let's just pretend we're in a different place, because we can't be anywhere else. We can't be in this tropical island that we really want to be in. So that was like my take on it, and putting that together with this sort of like, it's kind of, to me, it kind of felt like an oxymoron. It was like, you have this really tropical upbeat sound, and then you have, this person that's like, oh, let's pretend we're somewhere else. Let's pretend we're in paradise. And to me, that was just like capturing the moment that we're living in, where we're all stuck inside. No one can go out on a holiday. No one can, at least from the UK, enjoy like a paradise, like sunshine. And I thought that it was kind of fitting for the times, really. And I got like a lovely reaction from a lot of people, and it was really great just to, that was the basis of the project. And then I just decided to put out some more stuff under that name.
It really speaks volumes. You might have missed it, but like if you really delve deeper, it like has a deeper meaning that could speak to a lot of people.
Yeah, but it was a really fun project, and off that I did a couple more songs, and I'm hoping to kind of put some more stuff together, basically, that will encapsulate maybe more of a disco side or more of a funky side. But it's great to have this project out there, and to just really want to build up on it, build on top of what I've already put out.
How long does it usually take you to make one of those songs, like the song we were talking about right now? How many hours, man hours was that?
Well, I think when I was finding the samples from that PSA, that took a while. Like, I think it definitely differs between songs. Sometimes it's like an evening to get like the vibe down, and then it'll maybe take a couple more days to just mix it and then prepare it, like master it in my own way. But I would say it can really vary. But for that track, I think finding all the material definitely took maybe a couple of days. And then it's like that thing about, how you perfect a song. Are you really finished with it, or are you do you just abandon it? Which I've kind of taken on that kind of motto of being like, you can hold onto a song for so long and try and make it perfect, but eventually you just need to let it go and just like stand back and be like, that's enough.
Or just this might be a weird place to come from, but like, just, I know when I've worked on projects, sometimes you like really have to be passionate about it, because you're working with like every day, and sometimes it can get really frustrating, and you just drop it. You're like, man, I've been doing this for 20 days and it's not coming out like I want it to, and you're just like kind of just sick of it. I would even think like with music, like hearing the same song every day, like, man, you really have to like that song, because it's gonna be stuck in your head, right?
I think there's definitely a lot of truth in that, where you kind of have to enjoy your own music to be able to want to like listen to it over and over again, and especially on loudspeakers as well. Sometimes I realize it's not just me, but it's like the people I live with, like my mom and dad, who are like hearing it over and over really loud. And then when I like come outside for a bit, they're like, what is that? Are we just hearing like this random loop like over and over again? Like, what is that? And it's just it's funny like explaining to them. And I think for a lot of music producers, that is, I think people have this like expectation of like, oh, it's so cool. You just arrive and you're just in the studio and you're just going to like make a song really quickly. But I think for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I'm going to take so long to choose the right sound and the right place to like loop this.
The perfectionist, because it's like, it's you on that track.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of music producers like to bury themselves in their music, and then they get really consumed. I know I get consumed by stuff like, and I'm just fine with like repeating it over and over again. But it'd be interesting to see what someone like an outside perspective is on like when they see someone just like choosing like four or five different like versions of a kick drum, or like 10 versions of a snare drum.
They kind of romanticize it, like, oh man, it's just like magic always happens. But no, it's like, even with life, like not life isn't always exciting. There's these like moments that like the work has to get done, and I feel like that's what exactly. Producers, right? It's a lot of work, and then the magic doesn't happen until like when it all comes together, like 90% down the road, and then you're like, all right, I think
there's all sorts of different ways of making music, and there's all sorts of different. I was just speaking to my friend earlier about this. Like, there's all sorts of different ways of, how much of a song is finished. Like, it could be, stripped back, it could just have a guitar on it, and that could be great. Or it could have loads of different tracks like drums, a bass guitar, electric guitar, piano. It could have so much, but then it's really interesting how people will perceive, oh, this is it, it's finished, like that's enough, or oh no, there's not quite enough, but that's the vibe. It's about capturing that vibe in the beginning, and especially if you're working with someone as well. I haven't yet had the pleasure of working with like vocalists a lot, or rappers, or other people like to work on a project together, but I've got a few things in the pipeline with some people that I'm hoping to riff off of what other people are doing, and then capture a vibe that kind of incorporates the sounds that we like together rather than just our individual sounds, which I think is a fascinating way of kind of exploring music production and how to make something sound a completely different way, or take an approach that's completely different to your own, really.
Yeah. So you're just waiting for us to go back. So you said you had some stuff lined up, right? You had.
Yeah. So I'm doing some more stuff that's more under my producer name. That would be like Tom Forte. But I think for the LouisLo stuff, I think it varies. If I've got a project and it feels more upbeat, more up tempo, more electronic, then I know it kind of goes under this project. But I think for the now, I'm going to be doing some more kind of down tempo stuff, like maybe some chilled sort of lo-fi vibes, maybe some more jazzy vibes, and that'll probably be coming out relatively soon. I think just got to find like the right platform where to showcase it. I think the music industry is in such an interesting place right now, where there's so much that's being put on Spotify, so much that's being put on Apple Music, all these different streaming services, and I'm kind of yet to delve into that. I really want to take part in that, but I've also been really interested in this side of music that has kind of been embraced by like blockchain and NFTs.
Oh yes, we were talking about NFTs in the last episode. It's
you have?
It's such a broad. I'm not an expert on anything, but we were talking about Logan Paul has an NFT. And what it basically is just like clips of him opening up Pokemon cards, I think. But he's
is it?
He's not.
That sounds really boring.
He's not selling the Pokemon card. He's selling the clip of him opening it, and it's like a one of one. So people are literally going out and like buying these things. But there's other cool NFTs. We also talked about Kings of Leon. They're coming out with a NFT album, so it's gonna be out for like 2 weeks, I think, and then like it's not going to be available. So I like that kind of thing.
I think that's amazing. It's such a bizarre world to dive into, but I was hearing about like how people perceive NFTs as like, well, why would anyone want to buy something like that? And I think what's really cool about it is that once you have an emotional attachment to something, or you understand the emotional attribution to that object, then it doesn't matter why someone would buy that. Like, why would someone buy a diamond? Because it's shiny, because we've kind of attributed like, there's some kind of wealth in having a diamond, or some kind of status. But, you could attribute the same thing to having an NFT of like, wow, you own this, thing that belongs to this artist or whoever. I think there's something really special in kind of like looking at it in an emotional way of like, wow, this gives me great pleasure to like own this material, and I'm the only owner of that. Even if it might be digital, even if many other people could see it or hear it or whatever kind of form that NFT is in, I think it's really interesting to just see it as like a way you emotionally engage in it.
I like that lookout. It's like it goes kind of beyond like just the collector's value of the thing that it holds, in a world like I like that outlook, because I feel like there's these people called like scalpers who just like kind of like buy like items that are low on stock. They might even get like collector's items, and they're thinking about the capitalist side of it, like how can I like profit off of it. But there are still people out there buying these collector's items because they really do like it holds a certain a non-monetary value to them, It's
absolutely
just,
I think it is it is amazing, like the whole monetary side of it as well, like with people, with that $69 million auction, and then like you say, like people were able to buy those small NFTs that he made for like $1, which will now be worth thousands, if not millions. But
on the road, huh?
yeah, that's an insane investment to think about too. But I think definitely the emotional side of it, of being like, oh, I own this and this is the only one, and that's kind of special to me, I think is maybe what some people find hard to see when you buy something physical. Like, you have it, you can hold it, you can touch it, you can do whatever. But with this, it's just like, I can see why some people would be like, you're just buying maybe a certificate or something that shows that you're the owner. And you're like, oh great, bro. I'll just put this certificate on my wall. It's just all for the vibe. So I think it's really fascinating, this kind of world that I think music is incorporating NFTs now, and it's, I don't know whether it's just a trend at the moment or whether it'll be long lasting, but I hope there'll be like a longer lasting trend to it.
Yeah, it might be like the new thing. I've heard NFTs have actually been around for, it's not like just new, because I just heard of it now, but they've been around for a couple years, but they're only now kind of getting the recognition.
Okay.
But yeah, I could see it as being something pretty big and might even be the norm later down the road. But it'd be, you kind of have to like catch the wave as it's like rising, because by the time like you try to hop on it later on, it's too high, you can't climb it.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Bitcoin or something like that. There's like thousands of stories of people out there like, yeah, bro, I had a Bitcoin when it was worth nothing and I sold it, and like, it's, but
yeah, I mean, those kind of stories are really great, and to catch on to something early enough for you to gain some momentum with it, I think is, I guess it's about trying lots of different little things, and you never know what's going to take off or hang on to something here, and you never know what its value might be later. So it's such a brilliant, unique world that we live in, I think, right now. And digitally, the way we consume things is definitely going to change, and it's fascinating to kind of see it in the time that we live in,
to be the crux of it, as like the development.
Definitely.
Like we're there, we're living it.
And
it's exactly crazy for like people, because not too long ago, like let's say 50 years ago, someone was born, and like to go from where we were at 50 years ago and to where we are now, like like Instagram, like it wasn't even a thought in anyone's mind back then. And now it like rules the world.
I know, and people like, they live off that. That's like that's their job. Like
jobs have been created. I got hit up on Instagram by this channel saying like, hey, we can like promote your stuff, like basically build like a platform for yourself. And that job was not, like people get paid money to do that, to just basically run people's channels to like try to get them views, likes, etc. But like 50 years ago, you try to explain something like that to somebody, they think you're crazy. Like,
exactly. Yeah, I know that kind of concept is so new. I mean, how long has Instagram been around? Maybe Facebook has been almost 10 years now, right?
Yeah, and Instagram is newer or older than
I think slightly, but maybe not
but not by much,
No, yeah. It was funny, I saw this meme, I think it was today or yesterday, where it was just like in like 2000, it was like this guy sitting on a toilet, and it just like, the caption was like in 2006, and it's just like this guy reading off of like, the back of a can, air freshener, and it's just like, before 2007, when like the smartphone was invented, people would just like read the back of like the shampoo that was like in the bathroom,
right?
Just like,
no lie, dude, that happened to me at work like a week ago. I left my phone at home, and then I was like, damn, like being at work without your phone for a whole 8 hours, it's killing. And I had to go to the bathroom, and I said and done, I grabbed the air freshener, and I was looking at it. I was just reading it on the can. I was like, I was learning some stuff. I was like, okay, so you can't digest this, like, noted.
Oh, dude, it's so, I don't think I've ever done like, I don't think I've ever done that. What have I done if I haven't had my phone? I think I've just taken in my thoughts, and even that is a scarier option.
just pound on your knees and get out of there. As quick as possible.
Yeah, but no, it's I thought that was really funny just to think about.
But it feels good too, because technology is obviously like awesome, but it also feels good to disconnect sometimes and just like not use it, because like I didn't have my phone for that day, and just like not having it for the day, it felt good when I came back. Like I don't know, just sometimes it's like an information overload. There's just too much of anything is possible at your fingertips, but sometimes
definitely
definitely
like I think I've definitely felt a lot of that recently, well, in the last few months during the lockdown, where all I can really consume of other people, whether they're sharing things with me, is just through my phone. And I've definitely noticed, like, when I go out for a run or go out for a walk, I'll just try and leave my phone and just be like, okay, because sometimes it does really feel like I've just got this big hunk of metal in my pocket, and
it's heavy.
It's heavy, and it's just like, I don't know, there's just some thought to it, like, oh god, when is it gonna vibrate? When is it gonna ring? Or
do you ever get those
need my attention?
Those phantom like vibrates. You think it vibrated in your pocket, and it really didn't.
Yeah.
You check anyways.
I really, those kind of things that like trick me when I think I've got a notification or something. It's just, and I'm just like, that's the point when I know that I think I'm kind of obsessive. I think I've definitely gone through obsessive phases of just like being on my phone a lot, and especially in the last few months.
Right. When you're trying to, it's kind of hard when you want to get serious about growing something, you know, especially like with your Instagram or like your music, because how else are you going to tell people if not like to kind of like put it out there? And if you really want to grow, I don't know, you got to do your due diligence and kind of like interact with other people like on there, so you get more view time. But I mean, it's, you can see how it's such an addictive cycle, and how they just, you know, these kind of social media companies just want you to stay on their, you know, their platforms as much as possible, and they're good at it too.
Scary, I've seen a bunch of those documentaries. I can't remember, what is it called, The Big Hack or something.
There's one where it's called, you know, I'm terrible with names too, but it basically was saying the science and like behind the curtain what's going on, how they keep you like on social media. I don't recall, but
is there one called The Social Dilemma? I think
exactly. Yes,
that one. I remember seeing that and just being like, just freaked out by that.
Just look at your phone. Evil.
What are you doing? Oh, just throw it away. I was just like, I just did more of a cleanse at that point. I think after I watched that, I think it's always the ironic take where it's like, oh yeah, once you see that show, you're just gonna like stop using it, and it works for a bit, and then it suddenly starts to creep back. And
it's like the Passion of the Christ dilemma. It's like, have you ever seen the Passion of the Christ, like the movie?
No, I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, okay, but you know what it's about, right? It's like when Jesus gets like crucified. Yeah, great movie. But like after you watch that movie, me included, I was like, damn, like Jesus died for me, and you're just like good for like 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks, I don't know, it's just such a powerful movie, and then it kind of reminds you of like, if you do believe in that kind of thing, you're like, oh man, okay, you got to get back on your horse, and then after a while it wears. But gotta get back to sinning. Like, oh, the club's open, all right, June. But speaking of movies, because you majored in film, right? Or was it was arts? I don't recall.
I did. In my UK university in Canterbury, I did film with a year abroad, and in my year abroad in UCI, I did, I think it was, the major was film and media. Yeah, I think that's what it was. But yeah, it was totally film based, really, a mixture between the theory side and reading about film and understanding film history to actually making films. Pretty fun. Yeah. Well, we got on the ride, man. We were making films together.
Yeah. Remember, I was just thinking, just like reflecting, and was like, man, we did take on a couple projects. Like we did. Remember when we wrote the one about she was bipolar, right? The main character was bipolar.
Yes. Oh man, the name for that one. I remember coming up with it as a joke.
Dude, and I can't believe they went with it.
They went with it. What was it? Stand By Me, but it was like bi was the bi.
That's right. She was bi as well.
Yeah.
But the end product wasn't what we had pictured. Like, I think it's safe to say that. But the parts that we were involved with, because you can't have your hand in everything, right? Like, especially in our busy lives, you kind of have to let go because I don't know, we just have stuff to do. But the end product was different than what we had pictured when we wrote it. But it was still a lot of fun making it. Like, I enjoyed the steps and like the parts that we were part of. Like, remember we had a conversation because we wanted to get this character right. We called someone, I forget who exactly, if it was your contact. She had bipolar, right? And then
I think so. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was someone I knew or someone that because we worked with the two other writers on that. I think it was 4 people writing that,
which is kind of a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
It is a lot. But I remember a writing session we had at your house, and all 4 of us came to just like bash out this script. We came and we were like, right, we need to finish this. And I remember you got your whiteboard out and we sat in your living room for like the best part of a whole evening, just running down like, how are we going to tell this story? What are we going to include? How is it going to flow? And yeah, it was a really fun way just to be super immersed, all 4 of us, just in like, how is this going to go from, nothing to a whole story that's, I can't remember how long it was in the end. Was it like...
No, I think the limit was like, it had to be under 15, right? So it was definitely under 15. I don't remember, but yeah. And then on the type, you have to be kind of careful. Like, it might tiptoeing the line, the kind of story you want to tell, and to be like courteous to the people and the issues that we were trying to tell in the story. So that was like another thing. That's why we called the contact, and she kind of told us her story, and we were trying to make it as more realistic as possible.
Yeah. Well, we went all out. We really wanted to get it right.
No,
it was important to.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to think about other projects. Oh, I also wanted to bring up this story. Remember, I haven't told this story in a long time. Maybe I should save it for the end section. But remember when we were at the park for that? I had written this story. It was about the milk carton. And then were you there when we were at the park and then we were shooting like the stabbing scene or like the killing scene?
I don't think I was there for that, but I do remember the story. But I remember Kelsey telling me the story behind that.
There? Okay, maybe if it wasn't you. Yeah. So what had happened? Man, I was so sure it was you, Tom. But you did help us with the film, but in other aspects. But so we were shooting the like murder scene in the park, and it was nighttime because it looks suggestible, like the guy had like ripped clothes and we made it like all bloody. So if you don't want to see that in the daytime, so we waited like really late at night to go to this park, and there was houses like really close to where we were shooting, but it was the spot with the light, so we had to shoot there because like, or else it wouldn't look good. And then so we shoot this scene, and I know that it's kind of risky, but I told him like, okay, just make it believable. Let's do it in one take so we can get out of here, because like someone's gonna think something's going up. And so we do the murder scene, and it doesn't take one take. Nothing ever takes one take. So we had to do it a couple times, and I was sweating a little bit. And then maybe 10 minutes later, we hear sirens, and then everyone just freezes, and we're like, where are those sirens going? And then we're just like watching them, and then 2 more cop cars come, and dude, we get ambushed. They park in the park, and they get out, and because they heard something, someone like told on us, and then we basically had to like come clean. Thank God I had like a UCI sweatshirt. I was like, yeah, bro, like I'm just a student trying to get this done for my class, and the even worse part, because we wanted to do this cool panning shot where it's like it panned backwards. But we didn't have like a gimbal or anything, and it was coming out too shaky. So what we did was we got Kelsey's car or someone's car, and we drove it onto the sidewalk, like where the park was. And then so we opened up the trunk, and we were sitting in the back. And then so the person was like basically driving, and that's how we got like our panning shot.
Okay.
So when the cops came, freaking there was a car like up on the sidewalk, and like it looked so bad. And we had a real knife. So we had to ditch the knife because we couldn't have that on us. So or else like it would look like really bad if you have like a weapon on you. So we had to like hide like the evidence and everything. But they were cool, thank God, because like we had nothing to hide. And they're like, okay, well, you guys, it's over. Like party's over. Like leave right now. And so the cops left. But in the back of my head, I'm like, bro, we didn't get the shot. Like, we need to do
the Hollywood executive, like, we need to get this done or else we're not going to get paid.
For real, because we need to turn it in the next day. Because like
oh really?
This is how close we were cutting it. So we still had to edit that night and turn it in the next day. And this was the only opportunity. And then I was like, bro, like as soon as they leave, we're going to do it one more time, but make sure like everything's in the car. So once we do it, we run out of here. So we did the scene, and then literally we hear cop sirens again.
No.
But then we just hop in the car. We're like sprinting to the car, put everything in there, and then we booked it out of there. And like I forget who was driving, but they sped to their house so fast. And then once we didn't like breathe until we got to the house. Like, we just like were staying still, wondering if the cops were like following us, but they weren't following us. But
I remember hearing that story, but and just being like, whoa, that is, the audacity, like the boldness you had to just stick around and reshoot that again is just,
dude, I was like,
insane.
We have to get it. And I was it might have been a little selfish, but I was thinking about everyone on the project too, as like cheesy as that sounds, because we worked on this for so long, and I wanted us to have something to show at the end. So I was just like, no, like, I'm sorry guys, but let's just do it. As like selfish as that sounds, I was like, I want us to have something to show for like all this hard work that we're doing.
Yeah, of course.
But
damn.
Yeah, that was I forget.
That's
like,
exciting.
I forget about. Some of the stuff
you got yourself in a good position though in the end. Like it seems like the cops didn't really mind too much. That is pretty cool that they were like very chill about it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think it's because it's also like Irvine, so it's not like what's the craziest thing that happens in Irvine.
Yeah.
So.
It probably was the craziest thing that happened. They probably never get a call being like, there's some murder going on in this park. Like, and they're probably like, what? It's not someone like on a bike.
Dude, there's
UCI.
Like one cop who's like super ready. He's like, it's go time. He's like, he's been waiting for this moment his whole life.
Oh, brilliant. Amazing.
Dude, but have you seen any good movies lately? Like, have you been watching anything? Because when we were in Irvine, we were talking about movies all the time. I felt
absolutely. I was talking to my parents about this. I remember when we had Movie Pass. Did you ever have that?
Oh yes, $10 unlimited.
You used to just rinse that every day. It was just like a godsend. You could you get like this pass. You paid $10 a month, and you can go and see one film every day.
Dude, and it's any film. They put some restrictions on it later, like it couldn't be a new film, but like back when it was good, like literally any film, new, old, whatever.
Exactly. And so if you didn't have anything to do, you'd just be like, well, I'm just gonna go and watch a film. It was just that was amazing. I miss those times as well. But like since then, like obviously with movie theaters here in the UK then not open, I've been watching a lot more TV actually. More TV shows compared to movies, which has been really fun. I watched I'm watching this show called Money Heist.
No, swear, I'm watching Money Heist right now too.
No, really?
I swear. I just watched
what
it before hopping on. I was on episode 5 of season 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Where are you at? I'm
probably about to finish series 1.
Okay. That's so funny, dude, because I started like less than 2 weeks ago for sure.
No way. I probably started at the same time then. That is...
Dude, you down to come back on the podcast and we'll talk about the series?
Do a breakdown of Money Heist? For sure, dude.
Because they're one of the reasons I got into it, because my coworkers were saying how good of a show it was. And I'm like, yeah. But then they said, no, but the last season is coming out this year. So I was like, oh, like I would like to be a part of like the series finale. So I wanted to catch up, but great show.
It is. I mean, I've really taken to a lot of foreign language TV shows recently. Like I watched Call My Agent is another really good one. That's a French a comedy drama series. I watched a couple of Korean shows as well. And this one, yeah, my friend he studied Spanish, and he told me about it. Just recommended it to me, and I'd studied Spanish with him like a long time ago, back in high school. And he just recommended, like, if you want to get back into your Spanish, watch some Spanish TV shows. And he recommended this one, and I was like, yeah, I'll have a watch. And yeah, I am hooked. It is kind of like, it's one of those shows where it's like it's kind of easy to digest, but I think it just has, like, I love the Berlin.
He's my favorite.
He's just like menacing, really
Whenever
menacing.
He shows
character.
up on screen, I'm like, oh yeah, like it's gonna be a good time.
I think he's brilliant. I think the other characters, who else I really like,
Professor's good.
Yes. Yeah, he's a very, like, the clean cut, like, OCD kind of guy. He knows how to
but he
run the show.
He gets the job done, like he does things that are like out of his like comfort zone. So like he also shows character that he's like, I'm not gonna let my team down. I'm gonna do what needs to be done.
He pushes to the extreme. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And yeah, I'm curious, because I know it's in parts of the series are like put into like part 1, part 2, part 3. I think it's on part 4 as like where it ends.
Part 5 is going to be the last one. They have 4 seasons out right now.
Oh wow.
So, and the last one is coming out this year.
Yeah, I mean, that seems kind of crazy to think that this, because it's all pretty much, I think it's over from where I am at this point, it's in the day 3 of the heist, but it's going on for like, I don't know.
Isn't it crazy?
They predict it's going to be like 10 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like, I guess, that the heist continues on all the way through these like 4 parts, which seems nuts. Like that's a lot of time to get through.
Literally one episode is like 5 minutes. Like, all right, 5 minutes have gone by.
Yeah.
So much has happened.
It's like 24. Did you ever watch that TV show?
No, but is the TV show like all 24 hours?
Basically, the whole series is 24 hours. So it's every episode is 1 hour of time. And there are 24 episodes. So you essentially, once you've completed the series, you've completed a day in that world, basically.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like one? Is it kind of like Money Heist, where like just one? It's like one main story. It's like one thing that happened.
Yeah. So I think I saw the one series like years and years ago now, but it was basically like, I think there was the first series about a kidnapping, and they just have to find like where the hostages are. And the people who took them, and it's all done over that 24-hour period, and it's really exciting. That I can't remember who the character is. Is it Jack Bauer? I think is the character's name, but it's Kiefer Sutherland is the actor in it.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. He's really great, actually. He's really
I don't even know what he looks like, but I just know the name because I know it's associated with 24 hours, and I heard he was good.
Mm-hmm. He was in that other show as well, the what was it? That was about the president, like taking Designated Survivor. That was it. He was in that one. If you've heard of that.
No, I have not.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, that show is old now, but
do I remember when I was a kid? It would like be commercials for it all the time. It's like watch 24 hours. And I'm no.
I think it holds itself up today. I don't know. I haven't seen, but I'd be curious to watch it again. Actually, I'll watch another series of it. But but I think Money Heist maybe plays off of that kind of the aspect of time. Even though you only see like the time intro in the beginning, like hour 45 or whatever of the heist, but it's a fun TV show. I really enjoy that.
I love how in Money Heist it's like very character driven. Like you come for the characters. They're all very different and unique, like Denver and then like Tokyo. She she's like a firecracker. Like she could just go off and like ruin everything. It's kind of nice to have those like unique people like sprinkled into the mix. Definitely keeps you on your toes. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think I do really like the inspector as well. Is it Raquel?
Oh, she's great.
I think she's brilliant. I think the way that adds so many more like complexities to her. She feels like massively developed, like with the whole relationship that she had with the detective and the issues she has going on at home. I think she's really well-rounded.
I feel so bad for her. She like pulled the short end of the stick. Like, she goes through so much stress in that show. I was like, damn, bro,
yeah.
I would crack.
I know, yeah. I mean, she's pretty cool. She's a hard nut. I think she's really, really great character.
Yeah. Did you know that Money Heist, actually, as crazy as it sounds now, but it almost didn't finish, I guess. It wasn't that popular back where it was made, and it didn't like get real traction until it came to the States. Like, they were thinking about ending it after season 2. It almost never got 3 or 4, you know?
Damn, wow. Because I know is it a Netflix production now? Did they take it on, or was it always produced by someone else?
I'm not sure. I think it came to Netflix. It was like a Netflix. They call it a Netflix original now, whatever that means. Like, a lot of things are Netflix originals now, which you know, like Chappelle's Show is now a Netflix original. I think. I'm like, what? Like, how's that possible? But there's actually a documentary on Netflix, basically just about the making of Money Heist, not about the story like itself, but yeah, it's like an hour long. I put it on my watch list.
Oh, cool. What's that called? Is it just Money Heist, the behind the scenes?
Something like that. Like, you would know it if you read it. Like, I think it's kind of a self-explanatory title, but yeah, they just saw that I was like freaking beasting all those episodes of Money Heist, and they're like, hey, you might like this, and I'm like,
damn. That's cool. I mean, would you have to go through more episodes so it doesn't reveal anything about the show?
Yeah, I'll probably check it out once I run out of Money Heist.
Yeah, right at the very end. Yeah.
Thank God, not anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dude, I appreciate the London background that you're going with your the Zoom call.
Hey, no problem, dude. I used to watch Sherlock, the BBC Sherlock.
And
great this would always be like in the cutscenes, and I'd be like, oh man, I want to go there.
Have you ever been to Europe at all then?
No, it had always been my dream in community college, just because like my community college offered like study abroad, and I thought it's community, so it's not that serious. So I was like, yeah, I'll go, like I'll do that. But then I just got too focused on trying to like get out of there and transfer that every semester counted, I guess. So there was like no time for like taking classes I didn't really need. I did though. I did take one though. I took a piano class because I've always wanted to learn to take piano. So I was like, I'm gonna take a for fun class, and I took like piano. But,
what did you like learn particular pieces or like a different style or?
No, it was literally like piano 1 for beginners.
Okay.
You learn where to put your hands and twinkle twinkle little star, you know.
Could you play a bit of Twinkle Twinkle Star now, like since from that moment? Or
absolutely not. I have the book still. We have like a digital piano here. I think the battery's broken, but I used to practice on that, so
nice.
It was fun. Yeah. I miss it.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's never too late to take up any musical instrument, play stuff. I think it's just, yeah, I'm glad. I was kind of, the music side for me was kind of always pushed on by my dad and my mum, mainly my dad, because he plays the violin. And he started me off playing the violin as my first instrument way back, like maybe 7 or 8 years old. And then I went through a lot of different instruments. I went through guitar, went through drums for a bit. Even like in year 6,
the sax, right?
And then the sax. Yeah, I mean, the saxophone, I started playing that when I was 11. So it's like, over 10 years now, which is crazy to think. But I did a lot of saxophone playing in school. I had a lot of classes. I like played in a lot of bands, and then I remember bringing it to UCI actually, all the way to California. That was really fun. I'm glad I brought that along because, that was the basis for one of the films that I made with the saxophone. And it's funny, there's this really great musician that I've worked with. Shout out to Akash. He is a friend I made over in UCI. And basically I wanted to look for someone to make music with, and I didn't know anyone at the time. So there was this Facebook group for UCI musicians, and I just posted like, oh, I like to make this kind of music, I play the saxophone, does anyone want to maybe have a jam sometime? And this guy, Akash, just popped up and was like, yeah, I like that kind of music, let's meet up. And so we met up once, and basically like we got on really well, just talked about music, and then we said, oh yeah, we'll figure out a time when we can play together at some point. But that never happened. And then like come a year later when I left, I'd seen him like once before, but we hadn't like arranged any more like meetups to actually play. And then when I left to come back to the UK, he sent me a song and was like, Tom, do you want to play a bit of saxophone on this song that I'm going to release? And I was like, yeah, totally. So I just laid some sax down for him. And since then, like, he's been sending me more material and releasing more music. And I've been playing saxophone on some of his tracks now for like, since then, so like 3 years we've been working together on music, and we've never actually played physically together before. We've just played like virtually together, sending each other parts. So that's been a really amazing experience of just like learning how to work together, how to collaborate in a like online space, sending things to each other, making music virtually, which has been really fun.
Dang. That's awesome. Again, power of the internet, dude. Power of
the internet. Yeah.
That's
it's cool the way that people can come together now. Like, you know, when everyone was so used to making music together in one space, now no one can be together. It's like, oh, well, we'll just have to like try and make stuff virtually, no matter where you are in the world. And I think that's really opened up for a lot of people that could be like, oh, I live in Germany and I want to make a song with this guy in Brazil, and we know each other because we like this kind of music. Well, you can send each other stuff and make a song and then put it up on Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever, and it's
literally
there.
No excuses.
No excuses. Yeah. So it's an amazing, like, transformative world, I think, music has undergone. I mean, people were always sending stuff even before the current pandemic, but I think that once the pandemic hit, it kind of really extended everybody's like, you know, time for like, okay, I need to make music, but I can't make it with people coming in like my studio. I have to just ask people, I have to message people and say, I really love your music, why don't you send me some stuff over? And that was a new way to collaborate. And I think it's just really risen like exponentially with the way that people are making music together now virtually. It's insane,
dude. And and I'm really happy for you that you like you're doing it basically, you know. It sounds like you have your goals and you're just having fun with it.
Definitely. I think the fun element is like, just you can't get away from that. For me at least, if you're making music, it should be you should be having fun with it most of all. And I think if you just want to get better at it, I think there is the state you have to be in is, you know, you have to practice and you have to do it, no matter if that's an instrument or if that's how to produce a song. You just got to learn how to produce like a ton of really bad music before eventually you'll get good and you'll be able to produce, you know, something that you're really happy with and that lots of people will enjoy. And that level, you know, can come next year, it can come in 5 years, 10 years, or it could be in a couple of months, but you just don't know until you just put in the hours in. And I think that could go with anyone. You could apply that to any kind of topic or subject, but I really think with music, if just to get better, at least what I've noticed with the time that I've had now is just making more, having the time to just like write a ton of really crap beats, a ton of crap
and not
songs.
Get frustrated with it, you know. It's like the process. Like, of course, you're not going to be like the best, like straight out the gate. Just enjoy the process. I feel like not enough people, including myself, you know, when you want something so much, you just want to get there, but you don't realize like what you're missing by not like taking a step back and like bro, like I've come a long way and I'm gonna just get better and just take it as it is.
Definitely. No, I think that's super important in these days, just to kind of realize, I don't know, that overnight success is not as commonplace as you may think, and to work for something.
And they never are really, because you talk to them, anyone, you take like Meg the Stallion or any big star, and it just seems like they popped on the scene like a year or two ago, but no, they've been grinding, you know, and behind the curtain.
Exactly. No, it's a really great philosophy that I've only just started to really kind of preach to other people who have asked me like how can I just keep making good stuff, and I'll just say, well, I don't know, I'm still not making that great stuff sometimes. Like I think, you know, if there's nothing's working, you just be like, right, just start again and just keep going and doing that, because you only learn from trying.
Have you listened to Bruno Mars's and Anderson .Paak's new track?
Yes. Oh, dude. My, what a dream collaboration that is. That is just phenomenal.
It's so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's
that
awesome.
Song is. I remember I watched the interview that they had with was it Zane Lowe, where they talk about, you know, but like behind the song that they put out recently, and they said, yeah, it's just like a massive flex, a musical flex on each other. Like there's like so many chords, so many like modulations, so many like instruments. It's just this insane number produced by these two like legendary musicians.
Dude, in their prime right now. I don't think they understand that, like how lucky we are. Like they're gonna come out with an album, hopefully. I know they put in a lot of care in this one song, and I also been listening to interviews, and Bruno, they're kind of polar opposites, which is kind of not polar opposites, but Bruno Mars is very meticulous, and he likes to go by the book. You know, he sits down. That's why it takes him forever. He's a perfectionist. He takes a long time for this song to come out. And Anderson .Paak is more of a, if it feels right, then it's probably good, you know. He'll just sit down and he'll just like riff in, and he's like, yeah, like that's the one. But Bruno likes to weigh his options, but it's still amazing that those two guys could come together and make something as good as what we got.
Absolutely, yeah, it is. I mean, that song, I'm really excited for like the project that is to come, but so far it's just like phenomenal, and the fact that it sounds like, I think that's what one of their aims, but it sounds like it's from, I think it's the 70s or the 80s, or it just has a sound
takes you
that
back in time.
Exactly. Like I think I was saying, I played it to my mom and was saying like, when do you think this was made? And she was like, yeah, this was definitely the 70s or the 80s maybe. And I was like, no, this was made this year, or made Bruno, last year. Yeah, it's just like they just captured an era of music and put a spin on it that makes it even more fantastic. So
video is great too. The video sets the mood.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't actually seen the video, you know.
Oh no, dude, I'll send it right over.
I gotta check it.
I think it gives it an extra layer. But
okay.
Yeah, great stuff.
That's dope.
But do you want to move on to our ending segment that we have for
us? Yes. What was what's the ending? How does it end?
It's called, so I call it I Could Have Done That Better. It's basically we bring a story and you retell it and kind of go through the motions, and then at the end you kind of reflect and like, yeah, like that sucked, but I could have done this better, which would have made the situation like not as bad or whatever. But would
do you want
like
me to start?
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I was thinking about, when you mentioned it, I was thinking about it, and there are loads of things that I'd probably change. I could have done better. But this one was a particularly like a funny or an embarrassing one. That I really remember this. From
this one, this keeps you up at night.
This one, yeah, I think when I think of things that I could have done better, or that I cringe really hard at stuff that I've done, it's definitely, this is in the top three, I would say.
Nice. We're here for it.
So you know how I said before that my friend put me on to Money Heist because we studied Spanish together?
Yeah.
So I did Spanish for high school. And then, so this story kind of starts a couple of years after. So I was about 18, 19, and I went on holiday with my family to Cuba, which was an amazing place, really beautiful, really, really amazing trip that we had. And so part of the trip is we stayed at this resort, like by the seaside, and this resort has like amenities for like any ages basically. And at the time, me and my brother were like, 18, 19. And so for the 18, 19-year-olds, they had a nightclub on this resort. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what we do. We just sort of turned 18. We were like, oh, we can now go to nightclubs and have some fun. And so we went, like, I think it was the second night we went to this nightclub on the resort. And basically the nightclub, the way that it's structured, it's like a coliseum. it's like a pit. So you have like the dance floor is like the pit, and then you go up
a coliseum. Go out
it's
to
like
battle.
It's like a coliseum. Yeah, you go into battle to like
Dance
shred
battle.
your dance moves basically. But it was basically like a pit. So you have the dance floor at the bottom, and then there are these giant steps that you have to go up to like the bar that's like around. And I remember being up at the bar with my brother, and I saw this girl on the other side of the bar across the pit. And I was feeling confident, I thought I was trying to revive my Spanish and be like, oh, you know what?
No.
I reckon I could like ask this girl if she wants to dance or something, and be like really smooth about it.
Yeah.
And so I remember having to get there. So I had to go down the pit. So I went down these big steps across the dance floor. And then I think I was feeling a bit too confident. And I decided to jump the steps, right, to go up to see her. And I remember jumping, but my shin didn't quite get to the level, and it smacked on the staircase leading up to this bar section, and I fell face first in front of this girl.
Oh no.
And I was just like, and then my shin was like bleeding, and I was just like in pain. And then I still had the courage just to like turn up towards this girl and be like, "Te gusta bailar?" Which is wrong as well. I'm pretty sure that's like, "Do you like to dance?" or something.
No, I think that would have passed. She got the message.
She would have got that, but I mean, I just looked up at her and said this in like a croaky voice from once I'd like was bleeding
on
out.
The floor. Yeah.
And she was just like, "No," and just walked away.
Oh,
and I was like, you know what? I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Dude,
so that was
props,
like,
dude.
Oh.
Like you went for it. Even
I thought I could do it, but that's one of the like. Luckily, the club wasn't that like it was pretty empty, so there weren't a lot of people around. But I just felt the shame of like smacking my face like right like by her feet basically, and just and bleeding, and then still being like, maybe I could still chat her up. It was just
dude.
Yeah.
And then you had to do the limp of shame.
Yeah, at that point I was like, right, I'm leaving the club. I can't stay here any longer.
And I've never been to a club since.
Yeah. I've never tried to chat up anyone in that same way again, or I've just avoided like any kind of Colosseum related clubs.
No Colosseums.
Oh, dude, yeah.
No, I think it would have worked though. I think you had it in the bag. It was just that trip up.
Yeah, I like to think that it was just these big staircases. I mean, I also have really long legs, very gangly legs, so that doesn't help. But that's me, I can't change that. That's my body. But probably if I would have gone back, I would have had a bit more leg staircase coordination.
Yes.
Just thought I heard a bang. It's okay.
No, there was a person that just walked by.
Yeah, it was her. She's come back.
I'm back. Take me back. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
dude, that's a great story. Love it.
Yeah, it's top 3 cringe when I think about it. When I look back and go, oh,
we'll just have to have you back so you can say the other 2.
Yeah. Oh, I hope it doesn't come to that. Oh, I don't want to reveal those ones. But what about you?
For mine, I could have done better. I was reflecting at our time at UCI and like filming stuff. I don't think I haven't told any of those. I remember going back to the script that I wrote about calling the number on the milk carton. Mm-hmm. Just as a quick summary. So the story is there's like a legend, or there's a rumor going around where someone's friend called the back of the number of a milk carton, and then he's been gone and he's been acting really shady lately. So then the main character does the same, and then he gets roped into this kind of like guy who's threatening him, like he has to do tasks for him and he has to do it, or else like he'll just ruin his life. So that was the story. I wrote the script and I played a very minor role in it. I usually like to Tarantino-esque it a little bit, just like be in there just a little, because I don't know, that's just me. And it came the night of where I had to do my part. And I don't know, I was just feeling even though I like to put myself out there, it's just still like nerve-wracking for me to like perform in front of people. But I just like to put myself out there just to like what, let's just try it out. But I was feeling a little more anxious like today than usual, and it's like a big scene, like there's a lot of people there, like cameraman, you know how it is. And Kelsey was actually filming that day, and we were at Tom's house, I think Thomas's house. And then so we're doing this scene, and obviously like I wrote it, like I know what to say, but still the nerves got the better of me. And it's like this major scene, and I just couldn't remember my lines for like anything. And then so and my line was towards the end of the scene, so literally we'd have to run like the whole scene, and it got to my part, which is basically the last like 30 seconds of the scene, and I would botch it. I botched it like 4 times, I think. And and then we would have to reset, and we were like, oh man, it was just, and then it builds anxiety, I think. Like every time you mess up, you're like, okay, like I'll get the next one, and then when it doesn't come, you're like, damn, okay, next one. And then people also want to go home because it's freaking late and we're all students. But I think I eventually, Kelsey helped me out and like kind of rearrange what I was gonna say to make it like a little easier to come out, because I had like sentences, and I think we shortened it, and that helped. But dude, that was, especially since like it's my script, I should know, like I'm directing everyone how to feel and like how to say things, and then I go ahead and just like drop the ball hardcore. But I think about that sometimes, but it was still like we got it done, and everyone was very nice about it, so that helped.
I mean, you know, you could also say like, as a director, as someone creating it, like I'm just rewriting the lines in my head. You should have played that card.
just like, oh, I'm sorry guys, just like make it like it's intentional.
Sorry, I'm just in my like writer zone, like the actor zone. I'm not in that one yet. I need to like put that hat on, and then I'll get to it. But I'm just rewriting it, reimagining the scene in my mind. You know, just
like
gotta fake it.
That's what I should have said. I take it back. That's what I should have done better. That's what I'm gonna do.
But still, I think, you know, you always got a supportive crowd. Like, especially I've never really done much acting before for any kinds of films, but I know that, you know, it's just a sign of a good director or people that you're working with when they're just more encouraging rather than like, you know, talking about you behind your back, and they're just like, oh, I just really want to go, this guy's just taking forever. So, you know, it takes being with supportive people as well to make this kind of stuff and to keep going.
Collaboration is like the best, and it could be / the worst thing about working on any project. You know, the people that you work with, they like, man, they could make every day coming in to do your job like the best or the worst, depending on your crowd that you hang with. It, but you kind of have to learn to roll with both. And do you remember that one story that we were trying to write? Oh, it was the one Stand By Me. There was like even more people trying to like hash out what it should go. And remember those guys who wanted to make it like a sitcom? Like,
oh yeah. Oh man, I do remember that. Oh, I can't remember who was the director on that. I really remember her face, but I don't remember her name.
Oh, were they directors? They weren't writers, right? They were directors?
Was it the directors that said... I thought it was the director. Oh, it could have been... Was it the 2 other writers with us that wanted it to be a sitcom?
No, they didn't want to do it like that, but I remember just this guy who and his friend who brought it up, and I was like, dude, where did that come from? Because they were on board when we were explaining what we wanted to do, and then literally the next day they're like, yeah, so sitcom. Like Seinfeld-esque, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, oh god, I do remember that suggestion and just being like, oh, that would not be a good idea.
Yeah, and I think because we were like overruled, or I don't know, the team felt like that was the best idea. So I remember trying to figure it out. I remember you calling me or vice versa, and we're just like, bro, like, how are we gonna make this into a sitcom? And I was just like. I was like, I don't know, bro, but I was gonna try my best if that's
throw some canned laughter in there somehow.
Yeah, and then I just remember, even before we tried to make into a sitcom, the next day, I think those guys like left the project, just like. And thank God, because that would have been.
Yeah.
A nightmare.
Even though it didn't turn out in the way that we imagined and maybe how we wanted, at least it wasn't a sitcom.
Yeah, dude, silver lining of our whole career.
Exactly.
At least we didn't get into sitcoms.
Yeah. I think I really haven't watched any sitcoms at all. Are they even like? I couldn't name one, a current sitcom that's on TV right now.
WandaVision, is that like sitcom-esque?
Oh, is that? I don't know. I haven't actually seen WandaVision.
Oh, me neither. I just heard that it kind of is. I feel, well, what makes it a sitcom? Is it the laugh track or?
Oh yeah, I would have thought like live studio audience. Does that
okay.
make it
That
sitcom?
makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then WandaVision now. But yeah, not since like, so I don't even know. They were never really my thing.
No, I really enjoyed The Big Bang Theory back in the earlier days, and then I think it tailed off for me after.
Yeah, it went on long.
Yeah, after like series 7 or 8 maybe, that was when I kind of was like, oh, it's not as funny anymore. It used to be really, really funny, and
It's hard to like stay. Your creative juices just keep flowing through the years, you know. Like,
yeah,
I feel like sometimes a story has been told. The story that you need to tell has been told, and you should just like wrap it up. You know, it doesn't need to go for that long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's part of the TV industry, and making a long-running show that will make you a lot of money. And you know, I'm pretty sure they rinsed it for all the merchandise they could as well. So it was successful in that, right? But like, yeah, it just tailed off in a not very funny way. I remember, I don't think I even finished it after series 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah,
but
I think I'm the same way with The Office. After Michael Scott left, it wasn't the same. And
oh yeah, The Office is a good one. Yeah. UK one as well, though. Did you ever dabble in the UK Office?
I did try watching it because Martin Freeman's in it, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, he is.
I love him. He's cool.
He's brilliant. Yeah, no, that was a really great show. I watched there's this comedy show that I started but I didn't really pursue it much. Was called Superstore. Have you heard of that?
No,
I hadn't heard of it, but it came across my Netflix feed for some reason, and I just started watching it, and it's just set in this imaginary superstore, imaginary like supermarket called Cloud9, and it's basically, it's a bit like The Office in a way. Like you have all these kooky people that are working in the superstore. Like you have like the Jim and the Pam and like the love story sort of
they
thing.
become archetypes. Like, oh, okay, he's the Jim. Like,
it is like the archetypes that you can see it. There's definitely like a Dwight character in this as well, and there's definitely like a Kevin character, and I mean it's been going for like 4 or 5 series, I think. And it kind of, some of the comedy lands, some of it is a bit cheesy, a bit cringy. So that's the reason why I didn't really continue with it. But you know, it's an interesting concept, and I think one of the reasons why I read about it was because it had what did it have? It had because it was trying to make the show in reflection of what was going on in the world, and they were making the show during the pandemic, so they decided, well, you know, we'll make the superstore live in COVID time, so everyone has to wear a mask inside. But I think that was backfiring on them for some reason, because I think when they were wearing masks, it was really hard to hear what they were saying or to make the show in a way that would, you know, match the real world. And
it just wasn't like physically possible, or just didn't like. It set them back a little bit.
Logistically, I think it was quite difficult for them to make as an effectively good show as they had been making before.
Just CGI those masks.
They CGI'd the mustache. They could CGI the mask.
Just all the budget CGI for this one show.
Yeah, you just like have like a box. You know the box that like covers people's eyes.
Yeah.
Imagine you just had the box like over people's mouths.
Yeah. Just like, is there a way we could put a filter on the cameras so they just like put the mask on, like a Facebook filter?
Oh,
like,
that would be class.
Make it happen.
Yeah. You know, get the industry on it.
Yeah, but this has been really fun, Tom. Like, I'm glad. Thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us.
Oh, this is a play. It's really great. I've been listening into your podcast with you and Trevor, and you guys just like, you know, it's easy just to play your podcast in like, you know, when I'm about to go off to bed, 'cause it's just like hearing a cool conversation of what you guys are up to.
A lot of people have been telling us that, and I think that's why podcasts are cool. You know?
Yeah, it's just a nice way to kind of mellow down and just listen to your thoughts. It's like hearing your friends, especially when it's your friends. I think it's just like it's just really nice to be able to reflect on things that you hadn't thought about, or like almost be a part of a conversation in a way without having to participate. So I think what you and Trevor are doing is just like, it's just really enjoyable, nice podcast. So it's a pleasure to be a part of it.
I think what we want, because we're always trying to make the show better, and first thing we're going to try to do is get so we can get 3 people on here so Trevor can join, because I think that'd be really fun. But it'd be cool to get once our fan base increases a little bit, get questions in from the fans so we could interact with people.
Definitely. You know what you should do? Awesome. One thing that I've seen really effective is that you get them to send in questions, but get them to send in the voice notes so you can play them. You can play what they say. I think that's a really cool addition.
That'd be awesome to even get to hear it come from your friends or your fan base.
Exactly. I would totally send you guys some questions for sure. Yeah.
Cool questions, dude. I'm down. I'm gonna write that down. I think I might do that for I just gotta plan it out a little bit more, but thank you for the suggestion.
Of course, man.
And I think we'd also like to have you back in the future if you'll come on.
Oh, always. How could I deny getting on the the podcast? I mean, there's so much it's just great to catch up with you, I think, and having had so much time apart, I'm sure there's just so much that we could talk about and just go on and on about movies and music, and I'm happy just to participate and share more stories and ideas, and just talk a lot of random stuff as well.
Dude, please plug in anything you want. Tell them where we could find you on your music and what you got going on.
You can just find me. I'm on Instagram mainly at Tom LaForte, and the music project that I was talking about is LouisLo. That's just LouisLo Music on Instagram. And you can find me on YouTube. I have a LouisLo music channel there where I put all the music visualizers for the music, and I think that you can find me in those 2 spots mainly.
Don't worry, dude. I'm gonna put it all in the description, and then we'll hype you up, dude.
Oh, perfect. That's so great, man. And I'll definitely spread the word more about Poke the Yolk.
Yeah, dude.
Can I ask where did Poke the Yolk come from? The name?
Well, I'm super bad with names. I wanted to get something creative, and I had a whole list that I was surveying with my friends. I was like, hey, is this cool? But Poke the Yolk specifically, I'm a quality engineer, and we have this one thing that we do. It's called it comes from the Japanese term pokyok, and it's basically what it translates to is foolproofing. It's trying to work on something until it has no more kinks in it. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Especially it kind of hit a little closer, because that's something I deal with, and I kind of like the sentiment. It's or what it means. We're having a conversation. It could be about anything, and we might not be super knowledgeable on what we're talking about, but we'll figure it out together. We'll work out the kinks and come to an understanding about whatever we're talking about. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's great that it has a nice layer of meaning to it, and that it's associated with what you do as well outside of the podcast. That's
it just cool. Kind of fell into my lap. I thought it was the most interesting, or not interesting, but the most creative name I could come up with, and I'm like, man, no one has come up with this. But I looked on Spotify, and someone had made a Poke the Oak podcast already.
But it's not half as good and half as popular as this one.
Thank you very much. But they had 2 episodes, and they hadn't made an episode since last year. So we're just gonna keep on making them until
churn out the content, baby.
That's all we can do. But I think we'll end this podcast here. Again, I would like to thank Tom for coming on, for being such a wonderful guest.
Thank you so much.
If you're still there, we'll catch you next week. So peace out, everyone.
Bye, guys.